Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vace. I am still here in Toronto. We finished the conference. It was a Blockchain Impact Conference that took place on Friday. Yesterday, I spent my entire day doing my trading seminar. Thank you for those that came out. It was limited to about 20 people, and it went really, really well. I'll see if I can get a couple of testimonials from people, put them on my website. But yeah, this looks like something I will be doing throughout the world as I travel. Now that this seminar in Toronto is over, I will be focusing on the one in Singapore. So those of you that have already reached out about the trading seminar in Singapore, I will, over the next day or two, I will decide which day I'm going to do it in Singapore. Most likely it will be January 15th. It'll be only half a day, though. This one was closer to a full day. The one in Singapore will probably start a little bit earlier. It'll also end a little bit earlier. And we'll take it from there. It seems like it was a really cool thing. People seem to have enjoyed it. And I'll try to do more of those for you. Other than that, it's my last day at this Airbnb. I will be in Toronto another day, and then it's back to Latin and South America for the rest of the month. And yeah, I'm going to try to catch up. I was going to do the traditional market analysis today. I'm going to try and get those out on Sunday. Most likely, I'm going to do that one on Monday. I'm going to spend the rest of the day catching up on economics and what's going on in traditional markets so I can bring you guys a traditional markets video. The trading Bitcoin video, I need to do this more often. Right now, it seems like it's happening once a week, but between our morning shows with Jimmy, I kind of get my views on the price of Bitcoin every day. All right. All right. So without further ado, let me start screen share. I will be taking your Q&A. Thank you once again, Richard, for compiling the Q&A questions for me. And I'll be doing some Q&A today. I have maybe an hour, about 50 minutes, and we'll take it from there. But before I start, because I always forget, there you go. I just want to mention my affiliate codes in the bottom of my video. I always forget. So go ahead and use those. I mean, they don't cost you any extra, but this way, it's better this way than donations, right? Like I don't really, I have a donation code out there just to have a donation code out there, but use the affiliate codes. I mean, I like these companies. I use these companies. So I might as well share an affiliate code. The one affiliate code that's missing here is actually BitMax. I have a BitMax affiliate code. I had totally forgot I was a beta user of BitMax. So if you are going to trade at BitMax, I have an affiliate code for you as well. I got to put that in here somewhere. But all of these things are in the description of my video. And oops, hold on. Application. And okay, why can't I do this? There we go. All right. Please don't forget the Learn Trading section. So much information here. This is basically what my full day or half day seminar is about teaching the things from this section. And for those of you that are new to my channel, section 6 is probably the most important, but only if you already understand sections 1 to 5. Go ahead and check out all these links, especially this one right here, the Bloomberg Market Essentials. And from there, you can download the book that will teach you all about the random number generator, as people like to call it. I think that's a fun name. It'll teach you all about it and how it's not all that random. And as far as the seminars are concerned, trading seminars, I will be updating this probably today or tomorrow. The Toronto one has already ended. I will put in a date for the Singapore one. Still need to find a place. And anyway, still need to decide how big the capacity would be. Probably 20 to 30 people once again. All right. And then Mexico and South Africa. And I might be back in Toronto actually before going to Mexico, or sorry, before going to South Africa. So if I am back in Toronto, it seemed like I had a lot of demand. So maybe one more. Like I don't mind. I just need a little help in organization. So I will hire someone to help me organize these things. All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about Bitcoin. I literally woke up like an hour ago. I haven't really looked at the price of Bitcoin. So let's go and take a look. We're pulling back a little bit on this week, but it's still a very, very strong week. Okay, not much has happened this week. Well, a lot happened this week, but not much has happened like towards the middle of the week. So we're waiting on those futures, right? Like everyone is hyped over the futures. The CBOE futures open tonight. The CME futures open about a week later. So I guess they open next Sunday night. And let's see what happens. But for now, the technical analysis on the weekly chart, basically, it kind of tells you nothing right now because we just had one of our nines, which tells you to potentially take some profit. And then wait. If there is a breakout, you can always go back in, right? Look, Bitcoin is slightly different than the rest because it moves a lot, okay? But the technicals don't change. I mean, trust the technicals. I don't even look at, you don't even have to look at the x-axis, right? You're just looking at the candles. You don't need to know what the time frame of this candle is, happens to be weekly. And I always, be careful on the candle after a 9. Now, because the candle of the 9 was not a reversal candle, there should not have been such a huge rush to exit, but you could have. And if the next candle starts trading above this candle, you can jump back in and look for another 9. We can easily, like overshoot this trend line from 2011. I honestly can't believe we're almost at this trend line. I mean, it's I did not think we would ever hit this trend line. To be honest with you, I really didn't. Um, I mean, this trend line goes all the way back to supporting the price during 2012. And I didn't think we were going to hit it. And it looks like we've almost hit it. It's absolutely amazing. One more Bitcoin pump, and it's pretty much all she wrote for that trend line, and we're back at it. Would this trend line, reverse the price of Bitcoin? I don't know. Can we overshoot it? I don't know. Let's see what happens when we get there. And next week, this trend line is sitting at about $20,000 on Bitstamp, and I know we almost hit 20,000 on GDAX due to their liquidity issues, I guess. All right, but the weekly chart isn't telling you all that much. The daily chart is interesting. The daily chart can still give you a 9 sell, though the next candle is the trickiest one. In order to have a green 8 tomorrow, we need to close at a new all-time high above 16,610. That is not going to be easy, okay? We really need to close above that to get an 8. Now, I guess last night, I mean, things were looking really, really bad. This morning, we seem to have rebounded. I'm not exactly sure why. I haven't really looked at any news yet. Maybe I'll go and take a look at some Bitcoin news live as we go on camera before Q&A. But I mean, I would have liked to see a pullback back to the 12,000 area. I believe, I'm not sure what I mentioned yesterday on Jimmy's, with Jimmy's on our show, but I would have liked, because this was a short-term top for me, right? So this 913 on the same day was a top, and I kind of explained where you had potential shorting opportunities, but we didn't really get there, right? Like, we never went below the doji that made the 9. We went below the doji that made the 8, but we didn't go below the doji that made the 9. So what does that mean? If we don't go below the doji that made, if you did go below the doji that made the 8, your stop loss would have been above the doji that made the 8, and the range of this doji was very, very small. High to low was only $500. It's funny how we talk about Bitcoin, like only $500. But yeah, when the price of Bitcoin is like $15,000, $500, not that big, right? Like what, 3%? So that's not a very big move at this point, $500 on Bitcoin. So you made a different doji, and this was a more powerful sell signal, right? But it's more of a take profit signal. The sell doesn't come until you start trading below this red line. That's when the shorting potentially begins. And that never happened, right? So we wait. So if you had taken profits on the 9, when do you realize you made a mistake? Well, right at the top of this candle right here, right? Because the very top of this candle tells you two things. One, you made a brand new intraday all-time high. And two, this was a green number 2 trading above a green number 1, right? So the very tip of this candle kind of tells you, hey, maybe taking profit was not such a good idea. Let's get back in. And if you wanted to be a little more conservative, you could have waited till the following day when it was clearly trading above the all-time high, somewhere in the vicinity of $12,001. I'm pretty sure at one point or another when I was talking about taking profits on this 9, I talked about how do you know when you're wrong? That's the most important question you have to ask yourself as a trader. If I take on a trade, when am I wrong? And if you go back to my videos, I guarantee you that I said you are wrong at $12,001. The moment the price of Bitcoin trades above 12,000, you were wrong for taking profit right here. Well, not wrong, but you have confidence to get back into the market for another leg up. And it was one hell of a leg. I mean, you went to $17,000 in under 3 days. Okay, I mean, that's one hell of a move. And that is something you have to do yourself as a trader, right? I recently got an email from someone that's very, very upset because he lost a lot of Bitcoin following one of my calls on YouTube. Now, I'm not sure how it was possible to lose that much Bitcoin from my calls on YouTube, because anytime I make a call on YouTube, I immediately explain to the person at which point you are wrong, or at which point I am wrong on making that trade. And if you leveraged 100 to 1, that's that's on you. That's not on me, right? If the price of Bitcoin moves $500 against you and you just lost 10 Bitcoin, and that's all the Bitcoin you had, to be honest, I mean, I treat people like adults. I hated when you have videos like this. Now, I understand that some traders don't tell you when you're wrong. Oh, buy here. Well, how do you know when you're wrong, right? Like, I do that all the time. I pretty much explain where your stop loss is if you carefully listen. I understand some traders don't do that, but I don't care. Like, I hate all of those disclaimers. This is not trading advice. You shouldn't do this. You guys are adults. Now, I understand there's a lot of children trading Bitcoin and altcoins because there's no barrier to entry. And again, I want even children that are trading Bitcoin. If you're going to trade Bitcoin, you're 13 years old, I'm going to treat you like an adult. So if you follow some YouTuber and you do what he does, and he may not even do it, and I clearly state I don't trade Bitcoin. I don't have time to trade Bitcoin. I trade traditional markets. I find those way more stable for my taste. I also don't want to put my Bitcoin at risk. You're an adult. You shouldn't need a disclaimer not to follow random people and their advice, right? I mean, you don't get into strangers' cars, so you may not want to follow random traders' advice. Make your own decisions. Read the Learn Trading section of my website. It's there for you to make your own decisions. This is why I made this section. This is why I do my seminars. My seminars are not there to trade with you all day. My seminars are there to educate you on how to make your own financial decisions. All right, let's move on. Enough preaching. This was interesting. So yesterday in the morning show with Jimmy, I drew this descending triangle, and I didn't put any arrows in there. I guess I was lazy. I guess I was busy. And I said this descending triangle did not look very good. Let's see what time did I do this. This is the 7 a.m. candle. So I believe Jimmy and I were doing this at about 8 a.m. So somewhere in the middle of this candle, we were doing our video yesterday morning. So it was perfect when I drew this descending triangle. So I don't know if I made it clear or not, but whenever someone draws a descending triangle, oops, here's what they mean. And this should really be red. Okay. So it's a descending triangle. The fat part of this triangle is about, oops, move the triangle. Fat part of the triangle is about $2,318, okay? So what we can do is we can take this We can copy it. We can paste it. We can flip it around. And we can move it over. Okay. And let's see where the target was. So once it falls, the target is $2,300. So as you can see, we came up just a smidge short on our target. A little bit short. But it was still a good trade if you took on the bearish trade. That's basically how these triangles work. I mean, you wanted to hit the target, but when you were so close to the target, so what did we fall? We fell, how much did we fall? We fell 1,700 out of the triangle. The target was supposed to be 2,300. Okay, came up a little short. And this is a challenge for a trader, right? You almost had two chances, right? You went back down again last night. When I was going to bed. I was going to bed a little later than this, but oh yeah, it's a 4-hour candle, right? So yeah, I couldn't stay out late. Between the last 2 days, I was just exhausted. But yeah, I was going to bed pretty much at the lows. And as I was going to bed, I'm like, oh, this should probably hit the target. It should come close to $12,000. And it didn't. It like immediately reversed after I went to sleep, so I didn't even realize it till this morning. But this is a challenge for a trader, right? Because this did not, this actually did not break my double bottom rule, double bottoms, double tops, right? Because it's very clear that over here at the very low, you only had a very limited amount of time to, to buy the dip. And that's how markets bottom. They give you very limited amount of time to buy the dip. And then the next time you get a higher low. You don't go as low, right? Now, had we made it all the way back down to 12,700, I would have assumed that we're going to go lower and make a new low and once again only give a trader 1 hour to buy the dip. But that didn't happen, right? We had a higher low, and this is a 4-hour chart. So this looks good. And now we're back above the triangle. And it looks like it's going to be one of these symmetric triangles that gives you a head fake and then flips to the other side, right? So at the moment, I almost have to go bullish. But like the rest of the day has to be like some kind of a monster rally. And the future's open tonight, so we just don't know, right? So based on this 4-hour candles, oh, and by the way, the random number generator, I really like that name. The random number generator told you to go short. What color should I use? Man, guess I have to use dark red. The random number generator told you to go short literally at the bottom of the triangle. It was a double whammy here. Right at the bottom of the triangle, the candle with the red 3 starts trading below a red 2, and at the same time, you're falling out of the symmetric triangle. Out of the descending triangle. But now you have this ascending triangle that gave you a head fake, and then it is now shooting up and is closing above the triangle. So what does that mean? Well, that means we're going to take one of these ranges. Once again, going to make this one orange, perhaps. I'm going to take the fat part of the triangle. That's $4,500, guys. That's nothing to sneeze at. All right. That's a good 4,500. Shit. Man, I mean, I'm optimistic about the future of Bitcoin, but this is a little too optimistic even for my taste. So, man, 40, shit. I mean, that's, god damn. Oh, a little high there. I can't see the number now. 43, go to 45. There we go. close enough. 44. Nah, I like that. I like to see that 5. There we go. That's 4,500. Now that we're busting out back above the triangle, right? So, I don't know. Let's hope. Let's hope. If we make it there, how do I want to see us make it there, right? What would be the perfect signal? Well, I would love to us to make it there over the next 8 candles on the 4-hour chart, right? So 8 times 4 is, wow, never do math on air, right? So 8 times 4 is 32. So over the next 32 hours, get a nice $4,500 move to the upside. Why do I really want it over the next 36 hours? Well, because if I look at the daily, if we pop, we can get a 9 on the daily, giving us a nice sell signal on the daily, or take profit signal, right? Gives us a nice take profit signal on the daily, along with the 4-hour at the same time on the candle following a 9, though this candle would close at the top of the range, right? So, so let's see. Let's see if there's one more buying frenzy from the traditional institutions trying to load up on some Bitcoin before buying into the futures. And I'll talk about the futures in a minute. So this is what the 4-hour looks like to me. I probably want to delete this line. I mean, I'm going to be confused why it's there next time. And so the 4-hour, how much time we have? We only have 27 minutes left in this candle. I'll probably be doing the show 27 minutes from now, though I am about to get to your Q&A. And we'll see if the next candle starts trading above the high of this candle. There's a, it's a buy call based on the random number generator. What is this? This is the hourly of Coinbase, which for some crazy reason trades unreasonably higher. Oh, not anymore. They're starting to come closer a little bit. It's only $500 higher, right? Yeah, so I kept forgetting to mention, this was this was that low, right? Also notice, let me zoom out. There's extra information with the new versions of this indicator. I have this dotted green line that's automatically generated. And I have this dotted red line that's automatically generated. Now, we did close below this dotted green line for one candle. Well, it would have been perfect if we didn't. Stayed above it. This is the risk line. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, that's not the risk line. This is the setup trend line. And you want to close above that line. But we never got a 9, right? Like if we get a 9, closing below this line, that means that bad times are ahead. And if we get a 9 closing above this line, that means that's more of a reversal 9 than a continuation 9. But anyway, we're back above the moving average. I mean, this looks pretty good. Nothing really to see here. You know what? I'm kind of forced to look at Bcash because for some dumb reason, people are still trolling me about my bad call on Bcash, which is borderline hilarious to me anyway. Like accusing me of giving bad trading advice on Bcash is like accusing me of giving bad trading advice to not invest in Bernie Madoff's funds in the 90s, right? Like if you know the investment is an outright scam, how can you in good conscience tell people to buy it? Because some people are going to buy it and they're never going to look at you again, and then their investment is going to go to zero, and then you're going to laugh at them saying, well, I didn't tell you to hold it forever. I told you to just trade it and make some money on it because it's like come on, this is insane, right? I will never ever recommend buying something I know is a disaster. I know is an outright scam. I will never recommend you to buy it. I don't care how high it goes up short term, right? I care about how high it can go long term. Bitcoin has a chance to go up long term. So I know I'm talking about trading because trading is my specialty. But when it comes to Bitcoin, I'm still a buy and holder. I'm not even a buy and holder. I'm more of a work and holder, right? Like I get all my Bitcoin from working. I don't get it from buying it. That was 2013 days, right? So I will never recommend anyone buy Bcash ever. Okay. Same goes for Dash. Same goes for any other scam coin, whether it's IOTA, whether it's NAM, whether it's Ripple. It doesn't matter, right? Those are all scam coins. I might occasionally say, hey, Litecoin is a decent hedge, Monero is a decent hedge at certain times because those aren't scam coins. Okay. Now I think they're useless, but they're not scam coins, and they potentially can be useful. I mean, look, I started taking Litecoin donations when Bitcoin's mempool was being spammed. Okay, haven't really had the need for Monero yet, but anyway. So this will go back to the lows. These arrows will be realized sooner or later. Few months later is not that much later, guys. So if you're still holding your B trash, let me put it this way, okay? I'll tell you this. If you bought B trash and you're still holding it, please put it in a smart contract to force you to hold it for the next 5 years, okay? And then I'll get to laugh at you when it's zero within the next 1 year, okay? That's not trading advice. That's not investment advice. That's just stupid, okay? The things don't change. Fundamentally, this is complete and utter garbage. So the moment it closes at a brand new low, I'm just going to redraw everything I always drew, right? Let's see here. You have a wait. Let me do this. You have a intraday low. You have a closing low. They're pretty tight next to each other, right? So I'm going to take this arrow, take the big arrow, copy it. I'm going to paste it, stick it right there. I'm going to be redrawing these arrows forever, guys, until they put me out of my misery and delist this garbage from exchanges. All right? The moment you go below these two lines, that's where we're going. I even drew my arrow lower, right? Notice that this arrow, so here, I'm going to adjust historically. This line, a little lower, and a little lower. All right? I might have been wrong on timing, but I'm going to double down on how bad it's going to get. When people realize that it's a bunch of clowns programming a protocol. There you go. Enjoy. Enough of this garbage. Oh, I keep doxing people. Anyway, a lot of people have access to this thing now, but the price remains the same. So check out my website. All right, Rich, can you throw some questions in there for me? I hope you've been compiling them. Let's do some Q&A. I got about 20 minutes. I'm gonna have to check out soon. I can barely keep up with my notifications. I really got to get like a TweetDeck. I got to use TweetDeck. I don't know why I don't use it. Hey, the futures aren't very leveraged. Like, I'm not scared, guys. I'm not scared that someone is going to dump the underlying Bitcoin to profit from the futures. They're not that leveraged. CBOE, 1 Bitcoin per contract and 44% margin requirement, right? CME, 5 Bitcoin per contract and 5% margin requirement. I mean, that's insane, right? That's huge margin. That's 3-to-1 leverage, right? So you can only trade on the CME with 3-to-1 leverage. So what does that mean? That means that your contract has 5 Bitcoin in it. The notional of the contract, when 1 Bitcoin is $15,000, what's 15 times 5? 15 times 5 is $75,000, right? The notional of 1 futures contract is 75,000. With a 35% margin requirement, right? You got to keep a third of that in margin. So you need $25,000 to have on the side in order to trade 1 futures contract with the CME, right? 25 grand per contract, right? And that controls 5 Bitcoin. So like, you're going to have to dump like millions of dollars to move the price of Bitcoin in the underlying. Like, I'm not scared at all, guys. I'm not. I mean, I should probably do a video with Richard Hart so we can like talk about this. Richard, if you're watching, text me. We'll try to get something going in like over the next week. Let the CBOE start trading and then the CME. I also found out that it's actually difficult to get approval to trade this thing. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trade the. I wasn't gonna trade the CBOE anyway. I was gonna trade the. Oh man, I may not even be able to trade the CME one. I don't think I have $25,000 in my open trading account because I've been liquidating it because I've been trading in my retirement account. Like I can easily trade this in my retirement account, but I'm not allowed legally to trade futures in my actually technologically I'm not allowed. Like my broker will not let me to trade the CME future in my retirement account. So I have to trade it in my standard account, and I've been liquidating my standard account to live on in order not to have to sell the Bitcoin to live on. So I'm not sure I even have $25,000 in my traditional trading account to be able to cover the margin of the CME future. So I may be forced to trade the CBOE future because the CBOE future has 1 Bitcoin per contract at 44% leverage. 1 Bitcoin is 15 grand. 44% of 15 grand is about $7,000, right? So I only need $7,000 on margin to enter a futures contract up or down. Unfortunately, I'm forced to enter it up because my broker, Interactive Brokers, will not let me short. But I'm not even sure they're going to have the CBOE future. And I'm hearing from some hedge funds that you have to get like special approval with your broker in order to trade it. And me and my $20,000 traditional trading account, because I've liquidated most of it, I'm going to have a hard time convincing Interactive Brokers that I'm an expert trader with only $20,000 in my account in order to make this trade. So it's gonna be a funny conversation. I'll be like, no, I have 15 years of trading experience, but I only have 20 grand to trade with. Like it's gonna be a very funny conversation, which I would love to have. But anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying I'm gonna try to find a way to trade a futures contract. All right, so Rich, questions. What do you got here? What do you got for me? Hope you're still on. Guys, you're asking me questions as if I'm Miss Cleo. Like, here's the question. If I sold half my Bitcoin long-term hold amount, looking to buy back lower at the bottom around 9,000, will I get a chance to rebuy at 9,000 or should I buy back in? I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Nobody does. Nobody does. I'm trying to take this day by day. Do I think Bitcoin is a bit overvalued and I think it's going to have a pullback back to 10,000? Yes, I do. Will it go back to 9,000? I don't know. Maybe. Will it go to 7,500? If it goes back to 9,000, then yeah, it will probably go back to 7.5, right? So a lot of these things are like what ifs. Like if we fall to 10,000 in reverse, we're probably not going to hit 9. But if we fall to 9,000, we're probably going to hit 7.5, if that helps. Can you talk about the circuit breakers and how that will work when Bitcoin moves so fast? I don't know how it'll work. It's going to work very weirdly. So basically, the CME has said that they will stop trading. The circuit breaker works similar to the way it works on the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. The U.S. stock markets will be shut down if the stock market falls 10% in one day. This came about after the 1987 crash, where the stock market fell 23% in one day. Okay, so now if the stock market falls, 10% in one day, trading stops. The problem with Bitcoin is that if the Bitcoin price moves 20% in one day, the futures are going to stop trading, but the underlying will continue to be trading. So I have no idea how that's going to end. This was the thing that really worried. Should probably go to camera if I'm doing questions. Hold on. Where's my mouse? camera. I'll go back to screen share in a minute, right? So basically, the underlying Bitcoin will continue to trade even if um, the futures have stopped trading, right? So let's say Bitcoin goes up 20%, right? Let's say Bitcoin goes up 25%. The moment Bitcoin went up 10%, Bitcoin, the future has stopped trading, right? And if you have a long position, you're great, but you can't sell it. If you have a short position, you're kind of screwed because you still can't sell it, right? The trading has stopped. So now you have to wait till the next day. The next day, let's say Bitcoin is up 10 more percent. So the next day, the futures contracts open 10% higher. So what happens? Well, you're going to get liquidated if you were on the wrong side of that trade. That's why the margin requirement is so big, right? Anyway, you guys will learn. All right, I got a few questions. Let me do these questions, then I'll probably. Oh wow, it's actually a lot of questions. Shit. All right. All right. So someone says, does your indicator still count one candle ahead of Wall Street? If so, is this week a 9? The answer is yes. This week is still a 9 regardless. The only time it matters, like I skipped one of the prerequisites, borderline on purpose, borderline because like I just don't like that prerequisite, right? So let me though I am tired of explaining it, but I also don't want to get sued. So it's going to be different, right? There has to be a difference between my indicator and Wall Street's, or I am going to get sued, guys. And that's not going to happen. And people want free access to this thing. I'm like, no, it's a backup for my legal fund. Look, the prerequisite that I dropped was a price flip after the previous 9. When the color flips, I'm in line. Like this candle can't be one candle ahead if it went from a red number to a green number. This is perfectly in line. This 9 is perfectly in line. Okay. The only time I am one candle ahead is here. When there was no red numbers following a 9. So this 9 came one candle ahead. It should have been here. Okay? Should have been there. All right? Which would have been a nice 9 too. Would have been better. But I got a week heads up. I got notified a week earlier. So I have no problem with this. None. I like it better, in fact. Anyway, that's to answer that question. Tone, 100K Christmas shaved head. Sure. Sure. If Bitcoin hits 100K, if one Bitcoin hits 100K, oh God, this is gonna, we'll see. I feel like I should profit from that, right? So I don't know. If it looks like Bitcoin's gonna hit 100K, maybe I'll do a little Andreas donation fund, and we'll do and I'll set up a podcast where I get my head shaved on camera or something. I don't know. We'll do something cool, you know. Well, when Bitcoin hits 100K, we'll be doing something cool. Okay. I'm debating if I should just get my head shaved on camera if Bitcoin hits 100K, or create like a donation fund when the following Bitcoin address hits X amount of Bitcoins. Tone will get his head shaved live on camera. I don't know. We'll do something. I got to do it, right? I mean, I've been on camera long enough. All right, we'll think of something. All right, let me go back to camera. Let me go through your questions, then maybe I'll glance at some news or something. All right, next. Why is pulling back and retesting previous resistance a good thing? Doesn't retesting mean that the next time the price hits this level, it's no longer a good resistance point? That's a very good question. I don't know. It just does. It's just a very good buying opportunity because it's funny. Somebody at my seminar yesterday asked me this. Because what generally happens Like it happened right here at 5,000. Did it? What am I looking at here? Oh, no, it didn't happen. My bad. That's my yellow line. Oh, that tricked myself here. I'm like, it should have been this way. All right. Mostly here's why it happens, right? Very few people, well, let's look at this, right? 3,000, right? Very few people got out at the very top. Very few got out at the very top. Most people panicked and sold lower. And a lot of those people did not buy back, and they're watching the price of Bitcoin run away from them as they sold here. And they start to get very upset. And a lot of them say, it's gonna pull back, I'm gonna get in lower because I was right. And it starts to go lower, and they get all happy. They're gonna get to buy at a lower price than they sold. And the market screws them to the maximum ability one more time by reversing just at the previous high, because very few people actually got that high to sell and buy this dip. So these people get double screwed by not buying in time, because they feel like, see, most people should have bought back in at a breakout, but a lot of people are scared. This is why I always say buying the dip is one strategy, buying the breakout is another. And quite often, buying the breakout is a lot safer than buying the dip, because you don't know how low it's going to go. Oh, shit. Screen share. My bad, guys. Sorry. Back on camera. Ha ha ha. All right, here you go. Here's the 3,000 one. And not many people can time the dip. Timing the dip is hard. Timing the breakout is easy. You know where the breakout is. This is a buying point, right? And those that didn't get to buy the dip properly and didn't get to buy the breakout, they get royally screwed sitting here waiting to buy at a price they panicked at, okay? You buy the breakout right here above 7,500. Oh, sorry, above 5,000. I made that clear on my videos. You can buy the breakout again at like 7,600. And what did I say the other day? You buy the breakout at 12,001. It's a much safer trade buying the breakout. Much safer than buying the dip, because the dip can always be lower. There can always be a lower dip. Okay, buying the breakout is a very good strategy. Let's see what the next question is for I drop screen share. If you hold $2 million in crypto, and that's all you have is crypto, would you sell some Bitcoin? And if yes, how? Well, it depends. Do you want to pay taxes or not? Do you want to take a chance at being accused of being a tax evader? Now, there's a big difference between being a tax evader and being a money launderer. I learned this recently, actually. So to be accused of money laundering, you needed to have earned that Bitcoin from illicit activity in your jurisdiction. If you did not earn that Bitcoin from illicit activity, then you can only be accused of tax evasion. Going to prison for tax evasion is very unlikely. Going to prison for money laundering, a lot more likely. Okay. Usually, when you get accused of tax evasion, you can probably like pay your back taxes, pay a fine, and not go to prison, which is a good thing. So it depends. I mean, pay your taxes, sell it on Coinbase, take the money into your bank account, and you're good to go. You can change residency to a lower tax jurisdiction. Texas is good. Florida is good if you're in the U.S. Puerto Rico is good if you're in the U.S. If you're a Canadian citizen, go move to Aruba, and you will pay no taxes. Because Canada doesn't charge you on your income when you don't live in Canada. Hey, this isn't tax advice, guys. Just the stuff that I heard. So it's really up to you. Or you can, go try to sell it on the street. Try not to get mugged. Try not to get killed. sell it in small quantities, and then you have the cash, which could then be stolen from your house or if you bury it in your backyard. Do I think it's if all your money is in Bitcoin and it has just gone up like 15x in 1 year, do I think it's a good idea to take some profit? Yes. Yes, I do. All right, next. Back to camera. Now that Bitcoin is worth so much money, are there any additional precautions that people should be taking when trading Bitcoin peer-to-peer with the general public? Maybe. Just don't get kidnapped. If people know you have a lot of Bitcoin, just don't get kidnapped. Be careful. If anyone sees the shoes that I wear and the clothes that I wear, they'll know I don't have a lot of Bitcoin. If anyone ever sees the car that I drive, they'll laugh at me. So, you can buy that Lambo, but hey, you might wanna buy a bodyguard to sit in that Lambo, with you. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Yeah, take some extra precautions. I mean, find out what money transmission laws are in your country, whether you're allowed to sell Bitcoin at Starbucks. If you are allowed to sell Bitcoin at Starbucks, how much money are you allowed to spend for that Bitcoin at Starbucks? Hey, we smoke Bitcoin. Thanks for hanging around. Thank you, man. Thanks for the donation. See it come through right now. Just be careful, guys. Especially if you have a family. I mean, I have a family. I'm not, I'm not from the forest here, right? I have a family. I just don't have I'm not married or anything. I don't have kids. If I was married and I had kids, I'd probably take way more precautions than I do now. Like I wouldn't be walking around the streets of Bogota, Colombia at 3 o'clock in the morning by myself, right? I wouldn't do that if I had a family, though. If I am doing that, if I had a family, I probably have other problems. Yeah, just be careful. All right, next. Due to the different clients that BitMax retail and CME professional investors serve, will the price discrepancies, I should probably move this thing up. It's too small. Will the price discrepancies between the two future contracts present arbitrage opportunities? Probably not. Because, again, I don't see too much crossover between BitMax customers and CME customers, right? Like someone like me is going to trade on traditional exchanges. I'm not going to trade on BitMax, even though I could. BitMax is probably the one I trust the most out of all of these exchanges. And I still don't really trade there, right? Even though I trust it, my Bitcoin is still at risk. I still, I still don't like it. I like having my own control of my own Bitcoin and cold storage. And with CME, there's no cash settlement, right? So I don't have to put my Bitcoin at risk. And my Bitcoin stays in cold storage, and I can trade Bitcoin. It's that simple. And I see the same thing for professional traders. Why would they put their Bitcoin at risk? Why do they even need Bitcoin? They can just go and trade it speculatively. Okay. All right, next. Any plans to visit Europe in 2018? Yes, but it's going to be in October. So, guys, I already have like my a preliminary schedule. My preliminary schedule. I need to take like a week to think about it. My preliminary schedule is Singapore, Southeast Asia in January, Mexico in February, South Africa, and maybe Ukraine in March. So maybe I'll swing by another European city going into April. May, June. Okay, so May, I'll probably be back in New York at some point. June, I don't know. July will definitely be New York. I'll probably do Montreal. August, I'm thinking of doing the West Coast of America. So I'll do my trading seminars on the West Coast in August from Vancouver down to Southern California. So maybe I'll take like 4 weeks and travel through the West Coast of America in August and do seminars, Vancouver, maybe Seattle, maybe Portland, definitely LA, maybe San Fran. We'll see. I'll just go up the coast. That takes us into September. I'm not sure about September, but October I'll be in Europe. I'll do Southern Europe this time, right? Prague again, and then Southern Italy, maybe Greece, maybe Spain, maybe Portugal, that area, November, I'll be back in Latin America. I'm sorry, November, I might do Australia, do all 4 cities in Australia in November, and then in December, I'm back in Latin America, right? So I'm already looking a year out. So that's kind of my travel schedule. It's all going to change. Will I make it through Thailand in January? I think so. That's the plan right now. But I'll finalize that plan this week. So yeah, I think I'm going to go through Thailand. So go to Singapore, do the cruise, do the blockchain cruise, do my seminar the day the cruise departs in the morning. After the cruise, maybe Bali, probably Thailand. And then I got to get back because, and probably back in Singapore at the very end. Maybe spend a day in Hong Kong. We'll see. Ooh, Hong Kong would be nice. All right, we'll see. Got to think about it like today is going to be my relaxed day. I'll think about this stuff. Oh, wow, it's 11. I actually got to check out of this Airbnb within the hour. So, all right, next. If I sold, oh, wait, I already did that question, didn't I? Can you talk more about the circuit breakers? I already talked about that. How that will work when Bitcoin moves so fast. Hey guys, so for that, I really recommend listening to the interview with Interactive Brokers CEO. It was on CNBC. Just Google CNBC Interactive Brokers CEO complaints about Bitcoin futures, and you'll find the video. He talks about it well. I talked about it earlier in this video, so you have to go find that. It's just your trading is gonna stop, and you're gonna sit on your position hoping that it either keeps going. The problem is if Bitcoin moves 100% in a day, CME futures won't trade for like 5 days until it catches up, right? So it'll be interesting. All right, let me go back to screen share. Let's glance at top Bitcoin tweets and maybe some news. Let's do it. Let's do it this way. All right, let's go to my Twitter. Where's my Twitter? All right. So let's refresh top news for Bitcoin. Not news, sorry, top Bitcoin tweets. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Dennis. Wow, you're at the top of these lists these days. Not sure how you got there with only 127 likes, but hey, more power to you. Whale Panda. This made my day. Let's see what it is. No Conure. A no coiner is a person who has no Bitcoin. No coiner. No coiner, usually socialists, lawyers, or MBA economists are people who missed their opportunity to buy Bitcoin at the low price because they thought it was a scam. That's great. Read the rest of it. I don't want to read the rest of it on camera. Me and my poor English skills are terrible. We're definitely going to like this tweet. All right. All right, well, let's see what else we got here. Trace Mayer and his 200-day moving average, I'm assuming. Nope, not that. More altcoin storing trillions of value. All right, too much to read. Sorry, my attention span is very low. Bitcoin has less environmental impact than fiat currencies. That's 100% true. Max Kaiser of a rocket ship. Vortex, hey, you're in the top. I'm not at the top. I don't have time to tweet anymore. It's quite easy to make the most of electricity. What's with all the electricity topics? Well, what I miss? John Southhurst. I remember John from back in the day. Hey, John. Sent a $16 Bitcoin transaction yesterday, paid a $13 fee. Well, you could have lowered your fee, John, if it wasn't that important. I sent a couple of $10 Bitcoin transactions like 3 days ago. I'm going to my phone. And yeah, I really should check out this Airbnb. I'm gonna go to my phone. Let me see if they went through. It's been about 3 days. I paid about 80 cents in fees for those transactions at the height of the mempool. So I really hope they went through. Otherwise, a couple of guys paid for my drinks for free. No, I'll bump the fee up. I'm not that much of an asshole. No, they're still there. Oh well. Nope, didn't go through yet. And I sent somebody else $1 as a test transaction with a very small fee, and that one hasn't gone through either. But okay, and someone sent me a $5 donation on the 1st of December. That still has not gone through yet. That one is still also unconfirmed. So, so I can bump that up myself, right? If I really want the $5, I can do a replace by fee and pay for that person's donation, but I'm just gonna wait and see. Maybe the $5 will go through as a donation, or maybe it won't. Maybe we can all blame Andreas for clogging up the mempool with all of his donations. No, I'm kidding, Andreas. But the other day I had to pay $100 fee to get a transaction in. It was a little bit bigger than $16. And I was willing to pay the $100 reluctantly because I really needed that transaction to go through. So hey, shit happens. People like Bitcoin and they use it. What is this? This is what happens to uranium price since CME opened the futures market. The CME Bitcoin futures is opening. No, that's a terrible comparison. That is a, and what, since when is the CME trading uranium? Though it's a good thing, right? I mean, look, diamonds are grossly overpriced. You may want to wait for the CME to give you a futures contract on diamonds. This means that uranium was overpriced. It doesn't mean that there's a conspiracy theory to lower the price of uranium. Trust me, the government does not want you to cheaply buy uranium for your house. That's not how it works, okay? Uranium got grossly overpriced, and the futures contract basically standardized the market. So sure, if Bitcoin price drops because there's now a futures contract, I actually wonder if uranium is deliverable, right? It's probably deliverable, okay? But hey, if it drops the price of Bitcoin, buy the dip. Just buy the dip. It's on my shirt. Oh wait, I'm not screen sharing. Well, it was on my shirt. Is this from Pulp Fiction? I think it is. Let's see what else we got. Anyway, I think that's enough top tweets. Let's just glance at the news, and then I'm going to call it a day. All right. Let's look at the news. Let's see what I missed this morning. That looks like the Mississippi bubble or the South Sea bubble. It kind of happened at the same time. The South Sea bubble, there it is. The South Sea bubble launched its ICO. Yep. Isaac Newton lost all of his money. This is Ethereum to me. This is Steemit to me. This is altcoins. This is shitcoins, right? This is what this is the shitcoin bubble to me anyway. Russia and China to back currency by gold standard. I highly doubt that. Winklevoss twins. Never met the guys. Maybe one day. I don't know what that is. Yeah, good job, Andreas. Oh, Litecoin. I heard Litecoin went up in price. Should we glance at Litecoin? Let's do that. We'll close it with Litecoin. Let's look at Litecoin. All right, it's not on the BTC. All right, so I got Litecoin. Let's do Litecoin 60 minutes, Litecoin daily, Litecoin weekly. Let's see what we got. Okay. Why is everyone how is this bullish? Why is everyone going nuts over Litecoin? I drew these arrows on weekly charts. I mean, earlier this week, this thing looked like it was gonna puke out a lung. I mean, let's go to the daily. I haven't looked at this in like a month, guys, or whatever. I must have drawn these arrows back here. When was the last time I looked at this? November 15th. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I looked at these things. All right, so what day is this? Okay, so here. Right. So okay, so here's the daily. So what day is this? What about this? All right, so here. So the last time I looked at this, I drew this arrow. Like this was the last day. November 15th is when I looked at this thing. And I said, hey, you have resistance right here. It's going to go down, it's going to go up, and it's going to go down. The damn thing fell even faster. So 2 days ago, Litecoin skyrockets, but it skyrocketed from the lows. So, and it's back at resistance, right? So this is now a bit of a double top, but it's a different double top, right? I mean, I talked about this moving average cross. I mean, look, there's nothing here, guys. Sorry. I hate to bust your Litecoin bubble, but I don't know. Let's look, put the number indicator up. Nope, no buying yet. Nope. The 2 needed to go above the 1. That has not happened yet. So, like, my indicator hasn't even called a buy on this thing yet. It is in terms of Bitcoin. I know. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Okay, so when it goes above this line, I mean, maybe you can buy it. Let's see if I mean, this is the daily, right? I mean, I don't even want to go to the 4-hour. I can try to go to the 4-hour, see if there was anything here. Oh, there was a 9. Damn it, it didn't close on a 9. Shoot. That would have been so perfect. God. Oh, there was a 9 sell, though. Man, missed it by 1 candle. Shit. See, there was a 9 here that just tanked. No intersection, right? So read what the intersection's about. Oh, you didn't have an intersection here either. Interesting. This was a 9 when this candle opened. I know it was. Man, all it had to do was close, but all it had to do was close like a smidge lower. This would have been a perfect 9. Man. And then it immediately gave you a 9 on the other side, and now you're going down. So, Litecoin's a short, guys, not a long. What is this? Oh, this is the old indicator. Where the hell is it? Oh, wow, there it is. 60-minute hourly candles in US dollar terms. I don't know. I look good. I mean, with the breakout, I mean, in dollar terms, it looks good, right? I mean, looks like $100 resistance. You know, that's a good breakout on the dollars. But Bitcoin broke out, right? I mean, it's opportunity cost against Bitcoin, right? I mean, you need to pull back. That's about $100, right? Yeah, beautiful. I don't know. This isn't. This ain't exactly peeling my banana, as some people like to say. I don't know. Some people are getting excited. I'm I don't know. I'm not. So, all right, guys. On that note, enjoy the rest of your day. Sunday here in Toronto. Let me flip the camera back on. Say goodbyes. I'm gonna try and take the day and catch up on traditional markets and the world, and maybe relax a bit. And I think Tuesday morning I'm back in Latin America. So see you all then, and good luck in your trading. Talk to you all on the next one. All right. Oh, anyway, no, that's all right. I'm tired of pimping. Anyway, fine. Later.